All right, guys, we're on Canto 28 of Dante's Purgatorio. So in 27 at the end, it seemed as if Virgil is no longer going to be guiding Dante anymore. So we're on Canto 28. Aching to search now in and all around that holy forest, dense, alive, and bright, which tempered to my eyes the newborn day. Not pausing anymore, I left the verge, treading in slow, slow steps across the field. The earth below breathed scent on every side, a gentle breeze unchanging in itself. Struck on my forehead, yet with no more force than with the smoothest of our changing winds. To this, the branches, trembling in response, yielded, all bending to the place at which the sacred mountain casts its earliest shade, yet not leaning so far out of true that fledglings, perched among the topmost boughs, were forced to leave the practice of their trade. But full of happiness they greet the dawn, singing among the foliage which holds a steady undertone to all their tunes, as in those notes that gather branch by branch through all the pines along Ravenna's shore. When from the south siroccos start to blow, my steady steps by now had carried me so deep within the ancient wood that I could not see back to where I had entered first. Look there, a brook held back my onward pace. Its course was leftward, and its little waves swayed all the grass that rose along its banks. The purest waters that down here may flow would seem to have admixtures in their depths compared with those which don't hide anything. And yet these waters move dark, dark beneath the shadow that's perpetual and allows no ray of sun or moonlight ever through. My pace here checked, I passed in sight alone beyond that stream, to see and wonder at these May things in abundance varying. And then appeared to me as things appear that suddenly in wonder will deflect the claims of every other thought we have, a Donna, all alone, who walked along, singing and choosing flowers to pluck from flowers that painted all the way she went upon. Lady, you warm yourself in rays of love, or so I think, to see your lovely looks. These usually bear witness to the heart. May you incline in will to move more close. Sighing, I said, towards this flowing stream, so I may understand the song you sing. You make me call to mind Proserpina, both where and what she was when she lost spring and her own mother lost all sight of her. Her feet together firmly pressed the ground, as when a Donna dances, she then turned, and scarcely setting foot in front of foot, she turned above the yellow and the red of tender flowers, as virgin girls will do when they, for decency, dip down their eyes. Then she in full responded to my prayers, bringing herself so near that that sweet sound came to me with the meanings that it bore. And now the moment she'd arrived at where the grass was bathed by waves from that fine stream, she made a gift to me. She raised her eyes. I do not think so great a light shone out beneath the brows of Venus when her son pierced her with love beyond his usual stroke. She stood there laughing on the other bank, arranging many colors in her hands. Strewn by the mighty earth without a seed, the river kept us still 3 steps apart. Yet the Hellespont where Xerxes passed, a bridle still on all our human pride, did not so much incur Leander's hate when oceans raged from Cess to Abydos, as this did mine, because it would not part. You are both new, she began to say, in this place chosen for the human race to make its nest, and you stand wondering perhaps because I smile, caught up in doubt. The psalm, though, Delectasti, shed the light that may dispel the clouds around your mind. And you who begged me speak, the one ahead, say if there's any more you wish to hear, I'll quick come to answer you in full. These waters and the sound the forest makes battle within me with a newborn faith in something I've heard contrary to this. At which she said, I'll tell you then the cause from which those things you wonder at derive, and thus will purge the fog that strikes at you. The highest good alone, its own delight, made human beings good and fit for good, and gave this place as pledge of endless peace. Through his own fault, man did not dwell here long. Through his own fault, to weeping and to grief, he changed his noble laughter and sweet play. Water and earth below breathe vapors out that search as fully as they can for heat, and this induces turbulence down there. Yet, so that these should bring no harm to men, this mountain climbs and reaches to the sky, free of these swirls from where the gate is locked. But now, because the circling sphere of air, if that's not interrupted in some part, turns altogether as the heavens turn, that motion, unconstrained and living air, will strike directly on this utmost peak and make the forest, being dense, sound out. And plants here, when they're struck, have such great strength that with its natural power they seed the breeze, which then encircling round will scatter this the other hemisphere as far as soil is right, and climate suits, conceives and bears plants in variety with various powers. And hearing this, it would not seem down there a source of wonder if a plant takes root without there being visibly a seed. And you should know that all this holy field is filled where you are now with every seed, and here has fruits which there are never plucked. The water that you see is from no well, as rivers are that gain and lose in force, that's freshly filled when ice condenses mist, but issues sure and steady from a spring that gathers all it has from God's own will, which then it pours out, opening in two parts. It flows in this part down with all its power, to take the memory of sin away, restoring on the other all good done. Its name is Lethe here, Unoi there, until the taste is had on either side, the influence it has won't take effect. This savor is above all other tastes, and though your thirst would none the less be slaked if I disclose to you no more than this, I'll add one footnote out of grace and thanks. I cannot think you'll hold my words less dear if these soar out beyond my promised theme. Those who in times long gone composed those poems that sang the age of gold and all its joys thought maybe here's Parnassus when they dreamed. Here once the root of man was innocent. Here there was always spring in every fruit, and that's the nectar they all speak about. I swung around to face my poets there, and both, as I could tell, had smiled to hear the meaning of the words that she'd spelled out. I then turned back to see that lovely girl.